Hats podcast with your host with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.
Top of the morning to you, my good people. Happy Monday on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Monday. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. It's your host with the most, man. Tony Mays, Lavelle Salter. What it do, my day?
What's up, bro?
Oh man, I can't complain. I mean, I could, but I don't think nobody really want to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's a beautiful day, man. I don't complain and no complain. You know, we still here. You know, so ain't no need of complaining about nothing. I hear your voice, Reverend. Ain't that funny though? You preach it. I can hear your voice, Reverend.
Y'all on y'all last leg of y'all tour, huh?
Huh?
I said y'all on y'all last leg of y'all tour for the summer.
Yeah, for the summer. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. I don't know, like this thing be somebody told me that they wasn't getting notifications when we go live. Somebody inbox and say, I don't get the notifications when y'all go live. So I don't know if this page necessarily gives notifications. I know the YouTube do.
They have
The
to do it
YouTube
themselves.
instantly sent me an email.
They have to go on our page and hit see first. I think it's something like that. It says you got to be able to do it for it. It'll do it, but it's gonna get lost in the shuffle. But you have to literally go on the page. I think hit those three little dots and it's gonna say see first or something like that. They got three different options.
Well, I guess that's probably why I like the what you call so much then YouTube, cause with the YouTube channel, it actually sends you a notification that we're live. And which is cool because other than that, you know, you might not even know that you're getting the notifications, you know. So
yeah,
definitely
I
understand
found
that.
some kind of video that we could put in the group and then put on the page to show them how to do it in order so they'll see it'll notify them when we go live, but you got to go in and do the changes yourself.
Oh, okay. I was trying to look at the page and see where it actually states something like that on there, but
Let me see, can I find the video on YouTube?
yeah, I don't really see it. So, anywho, I wanted to talk. He said he got a notification, but maybe you logged in, Rodney, and got that notification. I mean, I get them in my notification bar that we live, but I mean, I just thought maybe since we set it up, it just automatically notify us. I don't know. Don't get me the line. Like it won't even let me go to the actual question that I was gonna ask. So I normally post the question. It don't even let me go to that. So it won't let me go to it on the actual page. It's giving me something from 2 days ago, our live from 2 days ago, as opposed to today's live, which is another thing that's weird to me. When it does these little weird things that it do, and I just feel like this it's I don't know, this could be a Facebook thing, but it literally won't let me anyway. Maybe you can add it, Lavelle, the actual question. Good morning, Paulette. 'Cause it won't let me add. I was gonna add it, but anyway, the question is, what are some jobs? Name some jobs um, that really have an impact on a person's mental health. Name some jobs or careers that really have an impact on a person's mental health. And I thought about that because Monica had actually, I think Monica had actually sent this to me, or I saw it on her page. She was scrolling, and I was watching. She was scrolling, and I saw it, and I said, "Oh, send me that." I said, "That's really good." It's because um, I always talk about healthcare workers, um, especially like people who have like the CNAs that kind of and the nurses that actually kind of get in the grimy things of it, where they're actually caring for people, hospice nurses and stuff like that. Um, I could see like if you're caring for a person and then that person expires on you, how that could mentally have a toll if you have any kind of heart. Now if you just a heartless person, that stuff probably never take any kind of toll on you. But if police work for sure, Rodney, definitely. I think police work is probably, I don't know if it would be at the top of the list, but I know it's definitely up there. It might not be at the top of the list, but it's definitely up there. Um, I think there are a lot of professions um, that are known to have higher risk on mental health issues. Due to the nature of work and the environment. Again, you got the healthcare, and believe it or not, customer service people, customer service people, man. If you work in customer service, that should take a toll on you, man. Because if you having a day that's, um, you know, let's say a okay day, and somebody kind of hits you with the, talking crazy on the customer service line, man, and you knowing you don't want to lose your job. Oh, certainly, certainly. Human resources, and I can tell you that now with human resources can be very, very rewarding from a financial aspect because the jobs pay pretty good, and I think that's because they know you got to deal with people in all they mess. And when you got to deal with people in all they mess, uh, yeah, it takes a toll on your mental health. Especially if you work in a capacity where you're having to terminate people, you're having to discipline people, terminate people, and stuff all the time, and you really have a heart for people, and you know, and you know that a person just may have made a mistake, an honest mistake. There are some people who are just egregious rule breakers, policy violators. Then you have those people that I honestly made a mistake, and the ones that honestly made a mistake, and that honest mistake can cost them their job. So I think that could definitely take a toll on your human resources. I got a list of. Let me just add them to the stage. Uh, we already said the healthcare workers, customer service, education. Our educators,
Especially now, Doc. Ooh, jeez.
man. You got these educators that have to deal with these children that are, excuse me, these children that are taking their frustration out on them because of what they're experiencing at home or not getting at home. So they're taking all of their frustration out on the teachers and educators. Um, so I know that could definitely have take a toll on them. Finance, if you're in finance, because you're having to hear people's uh, stories all day about how they, oh, I just lost my job, or I lost this, or so and so. I cut down to one income and blah blah blah. And I need my house. You can't take my house. I need my car. You can't take my car. And so I can see how that could take a toll again if you have a heart for people, you know. And sometimes finance can be long hours, all that stuff. So let's kind of get into some of these. Monica said psychiatrist.
Mm.
Uh, psychiatrist. I guess if you taking it home with you, I can see that too. But healthcare, it's a not healthcare. They deal with high stress, and it takes an emotional toll. Healthcare professionals, including doctors, nurses, and therapists. Okay, Monica, they your therapists and their psychiatrists face demanding workloads, long hours, and the emotional burden of dealing with illness, suffering, and death. That's what I said. You know, that takes a toll on you if you have a heart for people, or if you just see enough of it. Um, you know, I saw, and it look. I don't care what you say, man. Um, I've seen a lot of dead bodies, bro, and I ain't talking about at the funeral home. I mean, at the funeral home or at the uh uh on the day of the funeral. I'm talking about deaths, you know, right after they occurred. And or, you know, and it's just not like that'll take a mental toll on you, bro. Like, I don't care what you say, that affects you. Uh Paulette said any job that's not physical can be stressful. That's not physical, that's not physical. I think any job, period, whether it's physical or non-physical. My daughter is a paralegal, and she be stressed. She don't want to read nothing, even talk on the phone when she get off work. I gotta understand. My son-in-law deals with numbers, and when you deal with numbers, it has to be right. Yeah, in finance, yeah, you can't play around, and that's what I was getting to. Um, so with the healthcare, we talked about the high stress or just the emotional toll, and then the emotional exhaustion and the burnout, the constant pressure to care for others, coupled with sleep deprivation and the intensity of the work can lead to burnout and mental health struggles. Uh, we had I want to say Rodney may have posted this or something, but we was talking about people who commit suicide, and I think doctors and lawyers were among some of the top people that commit suicide.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. Um, increased risk of depression and anxiety. That these are the very people that's treating you for depression and anxiety, suffering with it themselves. Studies show a higher prevalence of depression and anxiety among healthcare workers compared to other professions. Wow. Customer service, dealing with difficult clients. You know, you know, somebody telling you I ain't paying that bill, and it's your job to get them to call them to talk to them about the bill and all that stuff, man. And just dealing with customers, period. It can be difficult customers. Um, it can be it can be stressful. Customers facing roles, customer facing roles can involve high levels of stress from managing complaints and dealing with the challenging customers. Emotional labor, the expectation to maintain a positive demeanor and manage difficult interactions can lead to mental fatigue. Yeah, because you know, like you got this customer on the other end cussing you out, calling you everything but a child of God, right? And
Hmm.
are you gonna cuss them out back? Or you gonna get your let me get back at them? Or are you just gonna say, hey, you know, sir, I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. I'm sorry to hear that, you know, whatever, and keep going. You know, I apologize. Keep going. Education, heavy workloads, and high expectations. Teachers often face heavy workloads, high expectations, and the emotional needs of students, which can contribute to stress and burnout. And I think the second part of this, the limited resources and support, can that's probably what probably gets them, in addition to those unruly children sometimes, and just trying to manage, the emotions of the emotional needs of the students. Because if you are a teacher that you really understand what you're dealing with in terms of the children, and you care for your kids, that could take a toll on you, bro. When you showing up to work every day, and you all you want to do is teach kids so they can learn and grow, and then you seeing kids come, they dirty, nasty, stinky, ain't ate, uh, just all of this other stuff, or they getting abused at the house, you know. As a teacher, bro, how do you deal with that?
But the thing about it is, being a teacher, even though you're just, hired as a teacher, you become so much more than a teacher. You become a mentor. You become sometimes a surrogate parent. You become cheerleader. You become a psychiatrist. You become a psychologist, and you don't even ask for those things, but it's just part of the. It's part of it, and I believe that's where the stress comes in there because you got so many different, uh, you know, individuals that you're dealing with. It be it the children and also the staff, because
Right.
even like when you look at just the change of the generation, you got younger teachers and stuff now. So you got the older teachers just kind of going out,
Right.
so to speak, and then you got the newer teachers coming in. So it's like, she got an attitude because she a diva, she a delta, whatever the case may be. She thinks she this in the third, and so you got so much stuff you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying, going through that process.
Wow. Uh, DeVale mentioned this one, and I think this one. First of all, you gotta have the nerve, bro. You gotta have some nerve to drive a big truck, bro.
Hmm.
Cause think about this: you're driving this big rig, and you're toting, you know, what 100,000 pounds of stuff,
Hmm.
and then you got these people in cars that just zoom in front of you and slow down, and you can't stop them big rigs on the dime, bro.
Man, no.
And can you imagine a big rig trying to stop on a dime, and you got a car in between two big rigs, and the car can't, and that rig that hit that car smash up to the other rig and make a man.
Hmm.
And it's been a lot of accidents like that. Or they just pull in front of them and they get clipped from behind, spin over, hit somebody else. Man, I've seen so many. It's crazy.
Hmm.
My cousin had told me about, he was an over the road driver for a long time, and he was saying, I forgot where he was, but wherever it was like some mountains, and they had these steep cliffs and mountains, and then they have these trucks run off where you're going, and you can't stop slow down. It's like this, you go to the side and you run off. But anyway, he said this guy was coming down the hill, and I guess lost his brakes or whatever. They had one of them, man. He said the dude in the truck got decapitated.
Wow.
I'm like,
But
man.
I mean, the other thing with the old road truck drivers, especially if you got a family. I mean, well, back in
Yeah, a
the
lot of them have multiple families over the road. Now just
I know
that
back
can
in
be
the day,
stressful
like
too, though.
yeah, I know back in the day, they didn't really, they used to, and I'm sure Craig can attest to this. Back in the day when you was driving trucks, they would allow you to drive as long as you want to. But now you can't do that. I think you top out at 10 hours, which I think is probably still too long. Uh, but I remember, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if I was at your store. It was I in West Memphis, but I remember one time, man, this truck driver was delivering to the store one time at Rentway, and he was just so jittery and stuff. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with this dude? He said, man, he said I have to take so much stuff to stay up because I'm driving these trucks. And they call it he called it a high speed chicken feed. I'm like, what? But like, but now that you got to make sure on your logbook and stuff like that, you can lose your job. Even so much so now when you drive trucks, you can't have high blood pressure, you can't have certain health elements because you driving behind the truck, you can risk somebody's life.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
remember, man, I never forget it, bro. we were doing I was working at rent a center,
Mm-hmm.
and we was doing a replevin one morning. Uh, and a replevin is simply when you go and retrieve somebody's furniture, merchandise back. You go out with the sheriff, meet the sheriff, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
process server, and you get your furniture, merchandise back. And I never forget, I was a manager at rent a center, and I got up early that morning. We had stopped, got some coffee, cause the guy that rode with me, he liked coffee, so he drinking his coffee. We coming up right there at Winchester before you get to Lamar. You know, all the truckers coming up Lamar. So
Mm-hmm.
we riding up there. The light was green. I'm going through the light, but I'm seeing this truck barreling and ain't slowing down. I'm like, he ain't gonna stop. So I see him coming and he ain't stopping. So I said, oh, he gonna hit us. He gonna kill us. So I sped the truck up. When I sped the truck up, bro, he clipped the back end of the truck where the lift gate was. So you know
Mm-hmm.
that big old heavy lift gate. He hit that truck, man. The truck went up on the side like this and came back down. Boom. But if he had hit us, if I hadn't sped up, bro, he hit us dead. He probably would split the truck in half.
Wow, that's crazy.
And the dude ran, he got hot cough all over. Oh God, you know. And man, I got paid for that, but that dude went back to work because he told me he didn't want to lose his job. I said, bro, they not gonna fire you. They fire you for that. You can sue them. You done
Mm-hmm.
got engine on the job.
Right.
So yeah, it them over the road truck drivers, bro. That's dangerous, bro. And the dude said he had dropped his. He said somebody called him. He had dropped his phone. He was reaching down to get it, and he said he looked up. It was too late. The light was already red, and he just came on through. He
Wow.
admitted, yeah. I mean, yeah. Paulette said everybody needs to see a psychiatrist. That doesn't mean you're crazy. Sometimes talking to somebody you don't know can help. Sometimes you need to release. We need to be heard and don't want your opinion or advice. Just listen. Okay. Craig said they call runaway rents.
Mm-hmm.
Craig said I stopped letting my family ride with me after my accident in 2020. I hit a tree at 65 miles per hour, and the tree branch came through the passenger windshield, puncturing the passenger seat. My God. So if somebody had been with you in that seat, boy, it'd have been over.
It's a blessing you
Wow.
see here, Doc. Man.
Man, that's crazy. Um, what was it? Educate finance. Somebody else, I think Paulette mentioned about finance. Her son-in-law does work with numbers, but finance can have high pressure environments and long hours. The finance industry is known for demanding environment and long hours leading to increased stress and mental health issues. And man, in finance, you have to meet all those targets. You got to manage clients. You know, I've worked, man, over several different kind of spectrums. When you have professions, and I've worked in finance, you know, and it can be difficult, man. You get these targets, you got these goals and targets that you have to reach, and they want you to, especially if you work at a finance where you having to retrieve money and finance and payments from people. It's difficult, because you got to hear all the stories, like I told you, of people, and then you got to be able to say, I understand that, but your bill still got to be paid, sir, ma'am.
Right.
You know, and it takes a toll on you, a mental toll on you. And then, just that pressure to meet those goals, especially when you don't uh uh when you're not uh you don't have the necessary resources to hit all the targets and goals that you need. But
Right.
you still are the expectation is for you to hit those goals, you know.
I think it's why a lot of these companies, man, are now, giving the opportunity for the employees to have a quality of life as it pertains to, like, working 4 days on, 3 days off, that type of thing. Be able to be hybrid. They'd be,
Yep.
work from home a couple of
Right.
days, work from the house. And uh, you know, I think you got to have you always talk about work life balance. That's one of the things
Yep.
you always talk
Yep.
about. And I think, especially with you all going on vacation like y'all do, that's work life balance opportunity that you know what I'm saying that you always add to that. And I think when it comes to these jobs, a lot of time we have a tendency, whether you're an entrepreneur or work in the corporate America sector. I think a lot of times you be trying to achieve so much, you bring this stuff home to your to your family, and it can mess some things up, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people bring stuff home, man. You know what I'm saying? Monk
Hmm.
said caregivers that falls under the line with healthcare and healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Uh, and if they don't actually work for a healthcare, they just kind of caregivers like my mom. She don't work for nobody. She just always have care for people. So she would be considered a caregiver, and that could be especially because most caregivers are generally caring for a loved one, somebody that they love. Um,
Hmm.
and so that could definitely take a toll on your mental health, you know. And that's why, I even said with my mom watching my brother when my brother passed uh other Thursday, it was difficult for her to I know it was difficult for her to see that, but at the same time, her just being there, she was strong because a lot of people like how, just checking on how she doing, because they understand that the toll that it actually takes on a person that's caring for a loved one. There's
Hmm.
another good one. Phyllis said pastors. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, People don't understand, man. When you become a pastor, you have to really like. There's a lot of things in your personal life that you have to kind of put on hold almost.
Yeah, because there'd be a lot of unrealistic expectations for pastors. That's but don't let me get on it.
Yeah, and because I think it's because you got, and then you have some pastors that they want to be hands on with everything. Then you have that's why like I can appreciate about Bartholomew, or I use or a lot of times when we talk about pastors because it seems like, and I know we're from the outside looking in, but it seems like or just his whole setup, his whole vision for how he has things. And he has the help. He has assistant pastors, and he has pastors over youth men over the youth. Then he has these deacons that handle certain things, and trustees that handle certain things. You know, and he's aware, but he's not there for every single solitary phase or aspect of what's going on.
You can't be,
And
and that's
that's
why a
what I
lot of
like
these
about it.
churches.
What I'm saying is you got some pastors that feel like they got to be at
Yeah.
everything, every event, and then they burn themselves out.
Yep. Overuse their authority, so to speak. When they really don't have no authority. But anyway.
Yeah. Uh, so finance and stuff like that can have take a toll on you as well. And then you have emergency services.
Mhm.
You have the people who uh police, firefighters, paramedics, you know, they exposed to a lot of trauma all the time.
I know one job that we probably don't even really mention, but one of my friend girls, I think she still works for. I don't. I guess you just call it 911, but it's an actual term for it. But I was listening to some of her stories back in the day. Her working for 911, bro. She's like, it's the most stressful job that she ever had in her life.
Yeah,
Cause like, folk call 911 don't even need to call 911, and they don't know to call the non-emergency number.
yeah. But because some people don't know. They
Mhm.
don't know, man, like uh somebody breaking your house and they broke in your house last night and you just got home. You don't call the emergency number, you just pick up and call, you call the non, but people don't know that.
Mhm.
So they'll just dial 911. Somebody broke in my house. Are they still there? Oh no, they did last night while I was at work. Oh, well, let me put you, you need to call the non. Let me transfer you to the non-emergency, operator,
And it's still an
But
emergency in your regard, it is. But in the case of doing it the correct lateral way, you got to do it because now it's not a threat, so to speak.
well, and not only that, 911, what if somebody has an actual emergency and your call is blocking, they got all the 911 calls, the operators are taking calls, and you got somebody calling for an emergency situation where
Right.
somebody is breaking in on them at the point, or somebody then passed out and they trying to get an ambulance, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
and you blocking up the line.
Right.
So yeah, it's emergency to you, but it's not really considered an emergency because that's something that's already happened and gone and done.
Mm-hmm.
But exposure to trauma, they experience a lot of trauma. They regularly encounter, traumatic situations, which can lead to PTSD and other mental health concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Man, PTSD is real.
Oh yeah. And it's
Pete,
so many,
let me
so many
say it
different,
again.
it's so many different layers to it. I know I did that research and study on that when I was going through the thing with my dad. And bro, it's thick.
Yeah, PTSD is real,
Mm-hmm.
and you can experience it. That's why you have so many guys that people that struggle from any like a lot of military people, police officers, especially the ones that have that get out into shootouts and stuff on the job and stuff like that. Uh, but you have a lot of military personnel. They come back from these wars and stuff because they can train you all day, bro. They can
Mm-hmm.
train you to fight. Man, we went through all this training in the military. We did combat training. We did hand to hand combat. We did all this stuff, bro. And it's different when you're facing an actual enemy and you got bullets flying over your head.
Yeah,
You get people that suffer from PTSD from basic training.
I'm sure.
Think about it. Basic training. A lot of stuff is simulated. You go through basic training, you actually throw live hand grenades.
Mm-hmm.
That's for you hearing a you pull the pin, wait a second, throw it. Right? We had people, man, that was throwing grenades and they were so scared they pulled the pin, throw it, and then the thing fall back where they was. We had a girl that did that in basic, and boom, blew back on her. She had to go to the hospital. Luckily it didn't kill her, but she had to, man, they made the girl go back through basic training all back over again after she recovered.
Why they did not use? So you got to use real hand grenades in training?
Real hand grenades.
Jesus
I,
Christ!
I got a badge, expert hand grenade. I was an expert in hand grenade. I was an expert with M16 rifle.
Wow.
And not only that,
I guess you have to, huh?
we do a night activity where they got these ropes. I know y'all probably seen on the movies where you got your M16, you got your rough sack on your back, and you crawling through the mud under these ropes, and they shooting live ammunition over your head.
Wow.
And if you raise up too high, you ain't gonna make it. So that's trauma, bro. So
Oh,
what they try to do is get you to experience what maybe a real life application would be like if you were actually in a war zone and this was happening. You got a low crawl, you trying to crawl because they shooting over your head, trying to get to the neck. Yeah. So they try to simulate that environment. And then
mm,
what they do is every couple of rounds there's a chase around so you can see, where the rounds are going.
wow.
Or you can't see, but the person that's firing can see. I mean, you can see the lights from the chase around going over your head, but
Right.
the person that's firing, so they can see where they're firing, where those rounds are going. They use chase around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
PTSD is real and mental health concerns. Then there are some other professions that also um, that will cause mental health issues. Can impact you from a mental health standpoint. Social workers,
Mm-hmm.
man. When you think about social workers, man, and how they're, if you're a social worker, they're having to go out and check on families and kids, and oh my god, bro. We have about it's probably been maybe a year. It's probably been almost a year and a half, maybe almost close to 2 years now. Where we first talked about at the library, we talked about adding social workers. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because we get a lot of people that come through the libraries, believe it or not, people, families, and we have our Link 211 area helps people out with a lot of resources. If you didn't know that, they work with a lot of partner with a lot of organizations, charitable organizations throughout the city and Mid South area, and so we try to match people with resources with
Mm-hmm.
211. And so they brought this to us, 211, the manager of 211, and that we wanted to be able to add the social workers to that. So social workers would dig in when you have those individuals or families that needed a little bit more help. And so we got those social workers, that we have at the and social advocates that we have out at the branches. So if you guys are in need of resources and stuff like that, don't hesitate to check at the library and Link 211. Link 211 is actually at our main Benjamin L. Hook library, but you can call or go online and they'll kind of pat you through to some services, or put you in touch with some services if you need certain services. I mean, we've done like uh, MLGW, uh, transportation, trying to find homeless people places to stay. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So um, if you guys didn't know that those resources was out there, I wanted to let you know that. So social work can take a toll. Then you think about some of the situations, child abuse, domestic violence, which can take a toll on their mental health because they're having to listen to or deal with all these things. And sometimes, social workers are sometimes even caught up in the middle, with trying to rescue a person out of a situation. You know, uh, Not necessarily rescue, but trying to provide resources for a person, and they're kind of caught in the middle of the aggressor and the person, the victim. So legal professionals. I think somebody mentioned, was that Paulette? I think Paulette mentioned her daughter was a legal professional.
Paralegal.
Yeah, paralegal. And man, that's tough. That's gotta be high stress, you know. And the pressure, when you meeting deadlines, or you got a big case coming up and you got to make sure you got all the documentation, and you did all the investigative research and all of this stuff that you need to be prepared for the case, so you can get the outcome that desired outcome. And that's pressure, bro. I've hired you and I've paid you $20,000 to represent me, you know, or vice versa. It's that's pressure, you know. Uh, so I can see how that could definitely lead to increased anxiety and mental health challenges as well. Creative professionals. You really could add a lot of professions to this list, but creative professionals, writers, musicians, and artists face the pressure of consistent creative output and financial instability, which can contribute to depression and anxiety. I mean, my son. My son is a tattoo artist and has a shop. And there are certain times a year it's just slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow. And if they haven't, because these the tattoo artists are independent, basically independent contractors. They all work for themselves. And if they haven't put money to the side to take care of them in those times that when it's slow, bro, it can be stressful. I've watched my son do it. I watched him not be prepared on occasions where you know he had really really good months and he was balling out, and I was like, bro, you better be putting up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to that point. He was struggling paying the rent and all that stuff because he didn't prepare, for the slow months.
Yeah.
So
I DJ'd a women's brunch yesterday for women entrepreneurs, and one of the key coming ways from the event yesterday, uh, we got to do better as collaborating, you know, as it pertains to business, you know. whether it's be on the job or career, whatever, and share knowledge and wisdom and stop gate. Black folks
Right.
got it bad with gatekeeping, bro. If it's some kind of way that you use Latona for instance, if there's some kind of way that I got some resources, which I got some resources I need to share with them that I got yesterday, but uh we always trying to keep stuff to ourselves, and because you think somebody wants to pass where you at and all this type of stuff. We
Yeah,
got
I
to
don't
do a better
understand
job
that.
at that.
I don't understand that. I can't get with it.
Yeah,
If
that's a
if I
whole other
got
podcast.
resources, nigga, if I got resources, you got resources.
Right, that's how it should be.
And it shouldn't be a monopoly. I think that's why you get a lot of actors and stuff like that. They be coming out a lot of times talking about gatekeepers, other actors
Hmm.
that have the the cheat code, so to speak, to
Right.
certain things, but then like they hold and they keeping you from, I'm like, why? It's a
Hmm.
all these movies and stuff and all this stuff coming out, bro. It's so much stuff coming out, bro. It's enough for everybody. It's enough
Right.
for everybody to get paid.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Monka just said the same thing. It's enough money out here for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody can get paid. It's enough money out here. And one of the things I do like about Tony is, and he's always been a person to try to help somebody.
Hmm.
Uh, even when he worked in tattoo shops where maybe the shops weren't really necessarily trying to help him.
Hmm.
His goal was not to be that way. And
Hmm.
so he's giving opportunities to guys that other people have shut the door on, and and you know he's helped people, and he don't just like tell you I'm helping. He show he go out his way trying to make sure people got what they got and need what they supposed to have. And that's a you know and he pays homage to people who are doing well in the same field that he ain't trying to knock nobody else. Like
Right.
speak bad about somebody else. He pay homage to a lot of other great artists out here that's not in his shop and that.
Yeah,
So it's cool.
they ain't gonna knock no flame out your fire.
Right. But you got people that won't do that. They won't pay homage. They won't give credit where credit is due and all that stuff, to other people that are in the same field or doing the same thing for the fear that, oh, I don't want them to surpass me or get the notoriety. Like his new shop that he just moved, that he moving into, there are at least four or five right in the general vicinity where he's moving his shop to.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking like, bro, are you gonna create some competition? He was like, ain't gonna be no competition. Man, everybody. He said people have preferences, Dad. They might don't, people don't want to go there. They might want to go here. You
Yeah,
know. And he said, I'm just giving them another option.
is it?
So I guess if you look at shit like that, bro, you can't help but to win, bro.
I
I'm just
mean,
giving them another option.
look what I have to contend with and deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because this is DJ born every day, literally. Go on TikTok. Everybody DJ. Everybody got a controller saying they DJing. You know what I'm saying? And but but what I'm able to deliver and able to do, somebody else may not be able to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Customer service, because a lot of times, we got different hobbies and things and stuff that we do that turn into, jobs or entrepreneur opportunities, but we don't do the business totally correct, and we just think, I can outdo somebody. Now, some of the stuff I learned yesterday, I'm still trying to better my business model, not just
right,
craft out of, what I'm saying, what I
yeah,
do per se, but having an actual bona fide, solidified business, you know what I'm saying, to the point to where I can literally hand this off to somebody if I wanted to.
right,
But a lot of guys, they just do it because the quote unquote notoriety that comes with it. I ain't doing it for that.
right,
Now probably at one time back in the day, you know what I'm saying, because I'm, a little wiser, I probably would be, what I'm saying, like some of these cats, but no, and then I got so many individuals that call me, man, asking for pointers and how to
right,
do this and shit. Man, look, hey man, if I can help you, I can help you. If I can't, I can't.
right. Now being a creative professional, because you and I are both the same, in terms of creative, being a creative professional. Is there ever a point in time where you feel like maybe uh, being a DJ is stressful or has a mental toll on you? Because maybe
Oh,
I know when COVID hit, there had to be a stressful time.
oh yeah, absolutely. All the above, because literally, I mean, I wear all the hats. I got to make sure I got my bookings. I got to do contracts. I got to make sure I'm there on time. I got to make sure all my equipment is working properly. I have to buy something or get something all the time, whether it's cables, whether it's I pay for several record pool opportunities where I make sure I got all my music up to date. Uh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm always buying something, investing in my business.
yeah. And so if the gigs are not coming in, does
Hmm.
that add a layer of stress knowing that, man, financially that ain't coming, the money ain't coming in? Or do
Oh
you
yeah,
say, well,
like
it's slow right now, but I know it's gonna come?
yeah, just like this year. And I just had this conversation with a couple other DJs. It's not just happening to me, but like you notice that one time all I was doing was weddings. Literally, I haven't. I normally would do anywhere from in a year's time. I would do anywhere from 15 to sometime maybe 25 weddings in a year. It ain't happening like that this year. I may have done already. I may have done maybe 5 weddings.
Mm. Yeah,
So
like for
it's
me,
a
I
lot of
guess.
there's a lot of reasoning behind it. I won't get
Right,
into all of
right,
the details, but yeah, and that's where you get your. That's where I get my bigger chunk of change, if you will, is the weddings and corporate events. But even my corporate events has been touch and go,
right,
and I don't update my website. Saying I'm doing my SEO. I'm with Better Business Bureau. Going to talk to the Black Chamber of Commerce today.
right,
Just trying to keep myself out there, but
right.
you just keep on chunking away at it, doc.
I think for me, um, because I've always had a job and creating the my creative side has been stuff on the side.
Right.
The I'm not gonna say that there hasn't been any stress, but I think because you want to stay relative, you want to stay active. But I think what has happened for me is I haven't been put in a situation um to where I had to really go and like be like, oh, because I knew I still had something to lean on, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But I believe if I didn't have a job and I was doing this, full time, oh, I think that the level of stress would kind of kick up. But I also think that my hustle would be different too.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
like this is my bread. Cause um the I took a year off from working, period. When I was doing I was doing
Hmm.
the IASO T. I took a whole year off from working and just built that business. And they were calling me the T man. I was
Right.
slanging T, boy. And I'm talking about didn't miss a bill, didn't miss a meal, didn't miss a travel, didn't miss nothing.
Right.
Selling tea
Hmm.
and hustling. But I knew that was, and it came easy to me, you know.
Right.
Uh so I know if I had to fend for myself like that I know I could. It's just like I said, I just haven't been put in that position um to or I just had to, you know.
I guess we just kind of out. I'm glad you brought that up. I guess we kind of out of the arena. We ain't been around it a long time. I know folks still do it, but I'm not meeting a whole lot of network marketers like I used to. It used to be they used to almost get on your nerves. They be coming out the woodwork. "Hey, let me show you this. You got time for this? Let me call you for that.
Yeah,
I
you still you still you still got them out there, man. But I think people's mindset, it's so much uncertainty in the world when people start looking at like I, I don't have time to build that type of business. I gotta do something else. You know, people who say I don't have nothing but time, but then they will still do it. But people who say I gotta live for right now because I gotta pay my bill, they don't. And they may have other limited resources available to them that where they just saying I can't afford to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's tough. It's tough with two income, two household income. So
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what it'd be like, you know, with one income or no income, and you got to get out there and hustle.
Ooh, I sure didn't want to jump into this right here, but this just gave me another segue. It's on the subject, but it's off the subject. So
Hold
rest-
on, let me read this right quick before you do that. Monk said, if the only way you looking good is by putting others down, you are a sad individual. It takes nothing from your shine to lift others up. As a matter of fact, you shine brighter. Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, of course, we lost Frederick Smith this over the weekend.
Who?
Rest in peace, Fred Smith, FedEx,
Okay, yeah, FedEx, yeah.
and it's this whole conversation going on Facebook, man. What folks were saying, man, rest in peace to the slave owner. You know, yeah, glad he gone. I'm like, do you understand that if FedEx built up out of Memphis, what would happen to Memphis?
Some people ignorant, man, because they never had to work at FedEx. But FedEx has provided a lot of jobs and resources for people right here in Memphis, bro.
My wife, one of them, she been with him over 25 years.
That's what I'm saying. Has provided a lot of job income, and then at one point, FedEx was the only job part time that offered uh health benefits.
Yep, and
Shit,
all kind of other
you
crazy
ain't
benefits.
nowhere else and getting no health benefits for no part time job, bro.
Mm-mm, unheard of.
Man, then had they FedEx credit union can finance your cars and all that. Man, what there?
Do you get discounts on just about anything anywhere?
Man, yeah. So
So I thank
people
God
people
for
people
Smith
do some
and his
ignorant and
FedEx.
say some ignorant stuff sometimes.
Man, you ought to see some of the stuff, bro. I was like, y'all, they want to go all into details about how he stole money from his sister and all kind of like. Anyway, we just major and minor.
Yep. Some of us, I'm telling you, like the only behavior we understand and know is toxic behavior. You know, thrive off toxicity, and if we don't, I mean, that's just what we know.
That's ridiculous, bro.
It's sad. That's what it is.
Hmm.
Is that the only peace that you have is by bringing other people's down,
Yeah.
and that's a
Ain't no
sad
return on
individual,
it, doc.
huh?
Ain't no return on it.
Yeah, that's a sad individual, bro. That's a sad individual that can only put somebody down in order to try to build themselves up, or that's just all they live for, thrive.
Right.
We want to apologize, guys. We didn't have the tea. Queen didn't have a tea for us this morning, so hopefully she'll have one for us tomorrow. Maybe I know she was having experienced some internet issues at one day last week, so I don't know if that's still occurring. But hopefully we'll have one tomorrow.
I would love to have Monica on one day for a short period of time. And even some other individuals, because since we talking about jobs and careers and stuff like that, we're getting around. Around a lot of individuals in our age bracket that are coming into the point where they can retire and stuff like that. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? What's your next move? What you going? Because retiring is not quitting. You know what I mean? But it's a part of your career process. Uh, did it relieve you the stress because you're not working a job anymore, or did it add some stress? You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
can't speak for all retirees,
Hmm.
but I just know from Monica alone, um, I've seen I've seen a level of peace that I hadn't seen in years.
Wow.
I've seen a level of peace. I've seen a level of um comfortability.
Mm.
Uh, and just you know,
Mm.
I don't She said it's an earned luxury, you know.
Interesting.
Now, I do understand that everybody can't retire and do that. Some people retire because of health reasons and they ain't ready to retire.
Right.
And then you got some people to retire because the job forcing them out.
Mhm.
And they retired and they weren't really retired because they wasn't financially ready. So they had to go get other jobs. You know,
Right.
Miss Alfreda's retired. She said, yes, Lord. You know, she
Yeah.
retired from the post office.
Yeah.
So, when
Look,
you're
you got those jobs.
retiring,
Yeah, you got those jobs that back in the day. That
yeah,
if you worked in, so they had those good retirement packages and all your pensions and all that stuff. But you get to the point now, a lot of that stuff is phasing out.
yeah.
You can get a job per se that like at the post office with certain companies now, but they don't have it as good as they had it once before. So is it even worth it per se?
And then you got some of the jobs that used to be really good jobs that used to be like everybody was trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
People ain't trying to get them more. And even those jobs, even the pay has went down. Like, I don't understand. Like, it seems like as the job, the company would get bigger, better, the pay would get better, but the pay started going down on some of those jobs, and people are like, because they realized that the type of people and the caliber of people that they were attracting weren't the same people anymore.
Mm. Interesting.
Loretta Bartlett, she said retirement is the best thing ever. Come on in here, Loretta. She said that's the best thing ever. And I have seen people again. I've seen people who retire who said, I'm just enjoying and living my life. And those are the ones that I'm like, I'm happy for. And then I see those people who retired. Now, it's one thing to retire and say, I'm bored and I just want to get back out here and get me a little part-time job to keep from being so bored. I get it. But if you got to go out there and get this part-time job because you trying to help your ends meet, then that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, retirement ladies, I think they should have us on the show.
Oh yeah.
I love to have. Hey, so we got 3 right here: Alfreda, Loretta Bartlett, and Monica that we could definitely bring on the show. We can bring y'all on here tomorrow if y'all available. It ain't like y'all ain't available.
Y'all ain't got nothing else to do.
It ain't like y'all ain't available. We can bring
It's
y'all 3 on
Friday. You
here
ain't got no
tomorrow.
job.
Y'all can be our special guest tomorrow, and y'all can talk. We gonna talk about the joy and luxury of retirement.
Well, let me ask you this then, y'all. So a lot of times you have people who retire that they're single individuals. They were making good money if they were single and children grown or whatever the case may be. Because of the economy that we're living in now. Uh, so you retire and you lose that income, and especially if you wasn't uh, good with your finances and stuff like that. How does that look, and what does that look like? Because you still got to thrive. I guess you did mention about maybe had to go get another job or something like that. But you know,
I,
'cause
I think
like
I think it's just not living above your means.
okay,
I think when you realize, especially when you saying, "Oh, already," because I know a lot of jobs will give you like uh, a kind of a snapshot of what your retirement check or income will look like when you retire. They give you oh
right,
a estimate pension or estimate retirement or what your estimate retirement. So you look at that and say, okay, now I got to make some adjustments. I can't live off. I was making 5K a month. Now I'm be making 2.5K a month. I can't live like I was living before. I got to make some adjustments. And then some people be like, well, my house already paid off, so that's a bill I won't have. I won't have it. So my car paid off. I don't plan on going to buy a new car. And if I had to get a new car, I stack my money up and then try to pay, at least put a lump sum down where I don't have a huge payment. So I think all of that goes into that retirement process. Are you just thinking about how is it gonna look for me from a bill standpoint? What does it look like?
yeah,
Monica said, "You'd be surprised at some of the unnecessary money being spent while working versus at home." Oh yeah, I can,
oh
yeah,
yeah.
for
I
sure.
learned that when I was going through the spiel with different jobs and stuff like that. I started the DJ business. Like we had more by me staying at home than me going to work.
Yeah. What you think about gas? You know, the wear and tear on your vehicles, oil changes, all this stuff that you gotta tires and all that stuff. Now you ain't buying tires every year. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, it makes a difference. You ain't filling up every week. You know, now you fill up every or once a month like Monica got. Shit, it like she fill up probably once or twice a month now.
Yeah.
See, Loretta said she paid her house off a couple years before she decided to retire.
That's
And that's what I'm saying. And that probably was the bigger buck of her payment. So she was like, let me get that out the way. So when I retire, I won't have that. Yep. Lunch, clothes, cleaner bills. See, it's a lot of stuff that goes into that, especially if you're in the professional where you have to wear a professional attire, you're getting stuff clean and all that. They finally got you. She in jury duty. They got you. Yeah, but Loretta, Alfreda, Monica, if y'all can come on tomorrow, put a yes in the comments and we'll send y'all a link so y'all can come on tomorrow.
It's gonna be a great segue to the what we already discussed. That's gonna go right hand in hand.
Some people make more in retirement than working every day. Yep. That's true.
Wow.
That's true, Ms. Alfreda. And to be honest, even though from a annual perspective, Monica's salary was cut down probably almost in half. But when you look at what she's taking home, and then she don't have all those extra bills and all that stuff coming out of it, it still wasn't far off from what she was actually taking home. You know what I'm saying? She had pension coming out of it. She had this and that and this and that and all these other extra insurances and stuff that we don't have in it. So and when you boil down to what the actual net take home pay is versus what she was taking home, it wasn't way off.
Right.
It was off now. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't way off. So I think that is a very true statement. Plus, again, you're not all the extra stuff that you was doing. Like Monica added the lunch, the clothes, and other cleaner bills and gas and all that stuff. All right. Y'all can come on tomorrow. We'd love to have you. I send you guys a link.
Yes or no?
Yeah, just put a yes real quick, Miss Loretta, Alfreda, Monica. Put a yes in the comments. Yeah, put a yes in the comments if you guys can come on tomorrow. We love to have you. Mia said she got 5 years to go preparing for it. Y'all see pulling from their 401k, accepting the penalty to pay off bills, playing. Yep. Monica said yes. Miss Alfreda said she got a doctor's appointment in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, it slow down. Yeah, every time it slow down, but them doctor appointment don't. Them doctor appointments keep pushing. All right. Well, come on, Lavelle. Give your final thoughts and close out with a prayer, bro. And again, let me apologize for Friday, man. I had to jump off really hot, man. We had experienced another death in the family while we were out of town, and it was one of those pains, guys, that boy, I tell you, Miss Loretta said she got a doctor appointment too. Let's do it for another day that y'all don't have doctor's appointment. We don't have to do it tomorrow.
It would be better for all y'all to be on.
Yeah, we don't have to do it tomorrow. So y'all let us know if one day next week would be good. That way you guys have time to kind of think about it. We can do it one day next week.
It'd be better when y'all come off y'all cruise though, wouldn't
it? Yeah. That's why I said one day next week.
Okay.
We could do it one day next week. And that way, all three of you guys can come on and just kind of talk about retirement. Maybe by then we can find a retired guy. We got Pops. We can talk to Pops. He retired, and we can talk to 3-4 retired people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said we can open it up to other retirees as well. Yeah.
Right. It pertains
I'm
to
gonna
Friday,
send
bro.
it to all y'all. I'm gonna send it. I got Miss Loretta. I got her phone number if she ain't changed it. I'm gonna send all y'all links to come one day next week.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
it
right.
pertains to Friday, bro. You know, as far as closing remarks, I just clocked the T and I got off because I was like, you know, that it was just that the weight had got so heavy so fast. I was like, you know, you was like perky and doing your thing. They were like, just somebody knocked her out of it. I was like, ain't no sense of me staying on here. So
Yeah, it knocked the wind at me, man. Like I can't stand to see my wife hurt. Like it just took the
yeah,
all the
so
wind out. Yeah.
again, our condolences to her family, man, and being prep for one of Dawn's good friends, like like family member that she worked with for a long time. She lost her youngest son. We don't know all the full details of what's happened, but he got killed last night.
Mm.
So well, not last night, night before last. So we have more details, but I know she got to be hurt, lose her baby child. So y'all being prep for the Flag family.
Will do. All right,
Yeah.
come on, pray us out, bro.
Life be life. Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. We thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for giving us life. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Lord God, we ask you to touch the bereaved family. Lord God, continue to touch everyone that's going through anything that they need this peace in. Lord God, continue to touch our efforts as we continue to do what you have given us to do. And we actually do all these things in our son Jesus' name. We said amen.
Amen. We'll see you guys in the morning, same bad time.
Same bad place.
2 Men in Hats. Let's talk about it.
It's the 2 Minute Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock, Dead, He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Minute Hats podcast.